Hey everyone, it's me Donna. In this video, I'm going to talk about two ancient people that I'm kin to according to GEDmatch. If you've done any DNA testing with companies like 23andMe and Ancestry.com and a few others out there, you can download your raw DNA from these sites and then upload it to GEDmatch, okay? And GEDmatch is coming up with, all kinds of different features and stuff that's pretty interesting. A lot of the website is free, but there are extra stuff that you can have for a fee, which I'm still using the free feature of it. But the paid subscription is, more in depth and all that from what I understand. Okay. But anyway, GEDmatch currently has a free feature, which I discussed this in another video. It's where you can compare yourself to what they call archaic matches. And it's of remains and things that scientists have discovered, and they've uploaded their genetic information, and you can compare your kit against theirs, your DNA against their DNA. And this is what, when I compared my my Ancestry.com kit, this is what popped up. My 23andMe did not give as good as, results on here as far as when comparing to the archaic kits as my Ancestry.com did. My Ancestry.com, was pretty cool on, as far as this goes. It gave me a lot better results. Okay, so these are all the people that I'm kin to, that have been, dug up and everything, that have been uploaded to GEDmatch so far. Okay. Hopefully in the future they will add more. I'm really hoping that they will add like Egyptian mummies and royalty and all that stuff. I think they would be really cool to be able to, to do that. They have some, if you go to this scientist link up here, right here, there's more people, and I'm going to check into that's on his website, but I'm not sure what the deal is. I don't know if it's that the scientists couldn't get enough of their DNA material to upload on here, or if they're still working on it, or whatever it is. But there's a lot more people that are listed. In fact, let me open up this page and show you if it will do it. Okay. Right here is the first group of people, in which I'm kin to most of these people in this first group up here. Okay. But then right here it says that it's tabulations for ancient DNA processed from publicly available raw files but not uploaded to GEDmatch due to less SNPs that are common between DNA testing companies and the sample. However, you can use other tools, autosomal tools, to do further processing. So I'm going to kind of check into that later on and see, what the deal is and everything, because it looks like there's some pretty interesting ancient stuff in this as well. But right now I'm focusing on this group up here. A lot of these are Siberian, Russian, Native American, Sweden, that type of thing, UK, whatever, But as I have found out, I am kin to a lot of the Russian, Siberian, Hungary, Sweden, and Native American remains. Okay, that's, most of the people that I'm kin to. Alright, but anyway, right now in this video I'm going to focus on two people in particular. Okay, which I have mentioned, I know on my Facebook page, and then I may have briefly mentioned him in the other video, I'm not sure. But anyway, right here is this paleo-eskimo person. Scientists have drew a sketch of him, and I will show you what he looks like right here. And they gave him the name of Inuk, which means man, and like Greenland and all that, because they found his remains in Greenland. Okay, so he's from one of the ancient indigenous people from Greenland, and those upper Arctic regions of the world. He's from that category of people up in that area. And there's different articles written about him on the internet. Here's 23andMe's page about him. And he's even in National Geographic and all that type of thing. But anyway, here's a sketch that they have drew of him from what they believe he looked like. And they got his DNA from clumps of his hair. I saw an image that showed a big, huge clump of the back part of his hair. They used that to get his DNA from, and this is what they've come up with. Okay. All right. And then another feller was from Kennewick in Washington State. By the way, the first guy, Inuk, he is believed to be about 4,000 years old. Okay. This other guy from Washington State is believed to be about 8,000 years old. Okay. And like I said, I'm showing up kin to both of these men. This guy right here, there's been a little bit of discrepancy over his ethnicity. Because some scientists have believed that he's mostly Polynesian, while others believe that he's from surrounding tribes, that he originated from that area of the United States, or mostly originated from there. So there's just kind of a bit of debate going back and forth. But right now, I guess they believe that he does indeed come from that region. But I will say this, I keep showing up as having Polynesian in my DNA, which, I've got Native American and, other different DNA pieces that, with some people or some of the ethnicity, I can't quite figure out exactly where it's coming from. Now, the Native American part, I've already got Native American people in my tree, so I know that I definitely have Native American and everything. But for the Polynesian, I cannot find a direct Polynesian ancestor in my tree. Not anything, close or anything like that so far. So my hypothesis is that these indigenous people must have had Polynesian in them. In other words, I kind of believe that maybe some of my ancestors, as far as the Native American side, some of them actually came from the Polynesian islands, and maybe even Hawaii and, surrounding Pacific islands. And they were like the third wave that came through, and their DNA hasn't quite, what you say, evolved into what we know now as actual Native American. Like the first few waves of Native Americans that may have come from Asia, if that's where they originated from, through thousands and thousands of years, their DNA has had time to, I guess what you say, evolve and be considered, Native American. But maybe like the third wave, it just hasn't had time, if one believes that or whatever, there's, a bunch of debate over that as well. But anyway, since I can't find any direct Polynesian ancestors, I have to kind of go with this third wave theory that my ancestors, are Native American can be classified as Native American as far as my tree and everything, but they actually have Polynesian and maybe some other stuff in there that scientists haven't quite, I guess what you say, narrowed down or whatever, because there's, even when I've ran my DNA and through different companies and everything, I'm getting like different results, different, percentages and all that type of thing. And, I'm even showing up as having Persian and, all these other different things. And yet I can't directly find these ancestors. So I'm just left kind of thinking that maybe somehow, some way, my ancestors came from over in that region way the heck on back, and they carried that DNA in this third wave of indigenous people, and that is what I would call my Native American heritage. If that makes any sense. It makes sense to me, but I hope I've conveyed that. But anyway, I'm going to shut up. Okay. Anyway. All right. This is how you compare like one-on-one. Like over here, like, this is the whole group. Like the ones that you're actually kin to. When you fill in the thing, this is what pops up, okay? But if you want to do a one-on-one comparison, you go over here, and this is their kit numbers, okay? So what I do is, there's a link on GEDmatch that will allow you to compare one-to-one kits, against each other, okay? So what I can do is put my kit number in this box, and then I put the other person's kit number in this box. And for the first guy from Greenland, his kit number is F99906. Okay? And then what I do to get the best results is the average on the S&P is like between 2 and 400, but I'm going to go ahead and say 100 because that's where I get my best results from. Okay? Since I'm going to have smaller pieces of DNA, since it's so far back. Because if I'm kin to this man, if this man happens to be one of my great-grandfathers, this first man, he would probably be like my 100th great-grandfather, okay? So if that is the case, then his DNA pieces are probably going to be, smaller than, the average person or whatever. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. All right, and in this part, the average, the default level is about 7 or 5 or whatever, but I go ahead and go down to 0.5. Okay, and that way you pretty much get everything. Like if someone is kin to you, they'll show up under these circumstances. Okay, so then I click submit, and this is what I get. As it turns out, this first guy, his DNA is scattered out all through my DNA. And this is coming in on my father's side of the family. Okay? And there's like 27 pieces of his DNA that matches my DNA that, that is scattered all throughout. Okay? And this kind of leads me to believe, now I could be completely wrong, only scientists would know, because I don't know that much about DNA. I would, I wish I did, but, my knowledge is limited. But my hypothesis is that this man, I feel like he has to be either, like I said, maybe 100th great-grandfather of mine, or maybe his parents were my great-grandparents, because for him to have so much DNA that is popping up in my DNA scattered all throughout my DNA, I mean, what are the odds of that? Let's just say, like, if he was just a distant cousin way on out on the other side, and he's got one line going down and I've got another line going down, and maybe there's just a chance that we're somewhat kin. I don't believe that his DNA would be so scattered out in my DNA. Do you see what I'm saying? because here's how I look at it. Okay, you start out with a couple over here on this side, and then another couple over here on this other side, and so on and so on. Okay, all right, you have this one group of indigenous people. Okay, all right, they produce offspring. Okay, so that way, you got that complete person with all this DNA. Okay, then they have children and then children and whatever, and then they pass down that DNA. Okay, once those children meet other people, maybe of other ethnicity or whatever, they're still going to have that base DNA still in them, but as time goes on and there's more and more offspring down the road and breeding and whatever, that DNA is going to get cut down. In other words, it's going to have other DNA mixed in with it and whatever, like a chromosome, for instance. It will still have that DNA in it, but it will have to make room for the fresh new DNA that's coming in. And so as time goes on, that DNA keeps getting pushed down smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to make room for the fresh DNA that's coming in. So that's my hypothesis on it, is that this man has to be within my line either as a great-grandfather somehow, or as a child or offspring of the great-grandparents to like the 100th degree or whatever. And I'm hoping I'm making sense with that to some of you folks out there. But yeah, that's my hypothesis on him, okay? Because it just for it to be just that much so scattered out, even though it's tiny, but it's just in just about all of my DNA on this side. It just, it's mind-blowing actually to me, okay? All right. Then this other person, the man from Washington State, over here is his kit number. So let me go to the page that's got that. And I'm going to put mine, which I've already got it right there. And then his is F99970, if I'm correct. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with his. I'm going to put it at 100 SNPs. And then I'm going to put 0.5 for the centimorgans, or however you say that. Okay, and then click that. And as you can see with him, he matches one segment on my 20th chromosome. That's where he matches me. Okay, so he's some kin to me somehow, some way, and he would probably, if he was, say, like my great-grandfather, he would probably be like my 215th great-grandfather, if that were the case. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe he might be like aunt, cousin, or whatever, because his is not so scattered out throughout my DNA. It's just on one chromosome. But I mean, still, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not, because we are kin. So somewhere or another there was a person that he and I connect to, that's the main person. Okay, but I don't know, I would be less likely convinced that he would be like my, 200th or whatever great-grandfather. Just saying, But anyway, like I said, I just wanted to share this video with you guys and see what you guys thought. This is a pretty cool tool. Hopefully they'll keep coming up with more and more stuff. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Yeah, DNA has come a long way, and yeah. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye.